Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the 19th hole. We are live on In Between Media. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the whole damn channel, and jingle that bell for notifications. We have reached the second major of the season, the PGA Championship at Valhalla Country Club in Louisville, Kentucky. Let's get at her. Pitter patter, let's get at her. I can't freaking wait. This is one of the most exciting tournaments that I can remember. It's just exciting because it's a great golf course, a great field. The live guys are back in the fray. We're going to do it right. Ooh, baby. Conor Coughlin alongside me, your benevolent king of spice, Bo McBrayer. Make sure you check us out on the Twitter X machine at cough underscore DFS and at Bo underscore make big time. Make sure you also follow In Between Media. Again, subscribe to this channel. There's a lot of good shows on this channel. We got our great Canadian friends like Royal Slade in the house. Wendy Early is on time. Love that. On time, bitches. We love Wendy. We don't like when she's not on time because she misses so many great nuggets of wisdom. Tim Burke's one of our favorites. He's a lifer. I mean, I think we got him hooked like nicotine. Tim Burke, we'd love to have you. Thank you for joining us again. It's a major PGA Championship Valhalla in Louisville. I mean, it's bourbon country. It's JT country. We're so happy. We both just slammed a huge winner at the Wells Fargo with Rory McIlroy. We were both ultra aggressive, and it paid off because Roars is our guy, especially at Quail Hollow. He owns that place, so it might as well update the Wikipedia page. Kieran Renshaw from Scotland, the sacred ground. Thank you so much. That's where my namesake comes from, even though my family did immigrate from Northern Ireland, unfortunately. Royal Slade, he's excited. Yeah, so Kieran Renshaw, great name too for a Scot. Let's go. I heard that.
I have finally settled in and am ready to actually communicate now.
Yeah, sometimes I just get going. But I'm excited to bust this open while you're talking.
No, I pumped about last week. You know how I get when I see, is that a Booker's?
Oh, it's not just a Booker's. It's the 2024-01, the Springfield batch. And
like Bart?
Yep.
I was going to say, while you de-wax that bad bitch,
what it is
is, you know how I get when Rory wins. So I was last week, I was riding incredibly high. That Sunday was unreal.
I was so high.
Yeah, Rory might be back.
Oh,
Rory got his groove back.
He was dominant. If he didn't mess around on 18, he would have shot a 63 at Quail Hollow on Sunday with everything going, like everybody else was even par or worse. And Rory's out there shooting a 63 if he didn't mess around and double the last.
We're also about to get Playboy Rory back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The impending paper.
Happy Mother's Day, ma'am.
Enjoy your papers.
Yeah, enjoy your papers. At least he waited till after a $3.6 million check at the bank. Not that either one of them's hurting for money.
No, I am curious to hear the backstory on that once it gets...
It doesn't matter. Maybe they just don't get along anymore. It doesn't make any difference.
I don't know. They look pretty chummy at the Masters.
Of course they did. Everybody looks chummy on the outside.
It's like you and I.
Everybody's going through shit on the inside. Everybody. There is nobody immune to it.
You and I come off that way. Everybody thinks we're like best of friends. We hate each
Yeah, I
other.
fucking
Literally
hate
hate
you,
each
bro.
other.
No,
Fucking.
I don't know where they're getting that either. 'Cause like, I mean, how many times do I cap on you every single show? I mean it, everything I say. I'm not doing this just for the showmanship. This isn't showbiz, baby.
Yeah, I have you blocked on every social media, and I delete your number every single time you text me. So I mean, it's
That's okay, baby. I can change you.
gonna serve you with some papers. Anyways, but no, I'm much like you. I'm super pumped for Valhalla. The PGA Championship in general is always one of my favorite tournaments to watch. It's always super
Oh,
competitive.
did you see
Usually
how
decided by
silky
a
that
playoff.
is?
Why
Oh
are
my
you rubbing this
goodness.
in?
Because it's 62.25% ABV. That's 124.5 proof.
But is it Rocky Mountain water? No, it's not.
No, but I'm going to put some NorCal water, a splash of it in here to open up the tannins. And
I somehow think that that's by far and away worse than my Rocky Mountain water.
All right. Agreed to disagree, Connor. But look at the legs on that. You can see that in high def. You can see the legs from all the look at that. Ooh,
well, tell the viewers what we're all missing out on, since everybody here knows what Coors Light tastes like.
Booker's is a Jim Beam product. It's like their flagship. It's not their flagship because that's Jim Beam bourbon in a jug you can get for $17 at Costco for a gallon or a bathtub full. But Booker's is their unfiltered, uncut, straight from the barrel into the bottle. And so it's the full cask strength. It's aged for 7 years, 7 months, and 8 days in a special rick house on the property at Jim Beam Distillery. And it is the most delicious bourbon there is. And because it's such a high proof, even me as a neat drinker do put a splash of water to open things up a bit. It actually enhances the flavor even more. So where you get on the nose roasted peanuts, caramel, vanilla, dried fruit, leather, it's so complex and so delicious. And it's also incredibly effective at getting a buzz going. So we're because of the high proof. Oh, sweet Jesus.
Should I drink some Viking honor in honor of
Valhalla? Yeah. And we'll have to decide which Nordic prince we're going to choose this week between the Norwegian and the Swede.
And we have a Scot on, so I can drink a little scotch for him.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
From the Highlands.
Should we get into it? Nobody wants to hear us ramble on.
They do. It's a major week. We're 8 minutes in. Life is good. I just had some amazing bourbon on my tongue. I'm still chewing it. It's good. But let's get into the caddy notes because I wanted to hear you wax poetic about Valhalla.
We go over this all the time. That's not my department.
Louisville. Oh my goodness. So all I've heard about Valhalla is that it's amazing, it's long, it's difficult, and it's going to be fun because it's going to bring out the best golf from the players who are in attendance here. And all I know is it's top 3 in distance and top 5 in smallest greens. What a combination, Connor.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it so far.
Continue.
So yeah, PGA Championship, Valhalla Golf Club, Louisville, Kentucky, par 71, 7,609 at yards. Got Zoysia fairways, bent grass greens. It's a Jack Nicklaus design. It's been reworked quite a bit over the last few years, adding some length and changing out the surfaces. So it's now designed to play even faster with more rollout on the fairways. The course itself, when I talk about adding distance, they've added about 150 yards, added tee boxes to, I think it's 6 different holes. Bo alluded to it. It is probably the longest course that we're going to see all year when it's completely stretched out. The greens are below tour average by a lot. I believe, like you said, I thought they were actually the fourth. Or did you say fifth?
I said top 5, so yeah, 4th.
Yeah, there you go. But anyways, yeah, accuracy is critical here. As the rough is going to play exceptionally penal.
How penal?
Very penal. It's kind of a tall fescue and bluegrass mixture, and the
Georgia.
And a little bit of the Georgia. But yeah, the greens are missed pretty frequently here. Obviously, you would get that having them be some of the smallest on tour. So there's a lot of getting up and down, a lot of scrambling. Greens are heavily protected by bunkering and water. There's about 62 bunkers in play on this course. Not just with the greens, but it's going to force a ton of weird layups. So again, this is a little bit like Quail Hollow was. You want to hit to a spot. You want to be precise off the tee. You want to be real handy with the long to mid irons. And yeah, Bo hit the nail on the head. This is actually a true test for best all around golfer. Distance has been the differentiator here, but accuracy ends up being king. So the name of the game is knock it close.
Everything.
Knock it close, stay on target, make your putts.
And I found it interesting as I dove deeper is distance is helpful, of course. It's a longer golf course. But what we've seen is accurate golfers end up carrying more weight because this is like Quail Hollow if the rough was grown longer and the fairways roll faster. So yes, the 7,600 yards is quite substantial, but if you hit the fairway, it rolls out forever, and you're going to have shorter hitters hitting it over 300 easily, which takes away a lot of the distance that you need. And that's going to be important here because if you're in the fairway, you're going to be in scoring position. We've seen scores better than 12 under par each of the last 3 times at this golf course of the PGA. So winning this tournament is still going to require hitting some shots, and there's going to be some birdies to be had, few and far between, of course, but avoiding the big number, avoiding the missed fairway that kills your distance. Like you hit in this Zoysia rough, you're absolutely screwed, and you have a long approach into a tiny green, and it's well protected. The greens are going to be really fast. I think if you get an accurate player off the tee who also has some distance, that player is going to have a huge advantage. And wouldn't you know, the last time this tournament came to Valhalla, Rory McIlroy was the victor. Imagine that. Long hitter off the tee who also is accurate.
Yeah, who's also on a bit of heater right now. But
so hot right now.
I mean, we both have said it ad nauseum at this point. I mean, accuracy is truly king here. And the extra runoff, I think the weather actually is going to play a little bit of a factor here. It's been raining It's been raining here all day today, off and on. Like anybody who's watching any of the press conferences today, it's supposed to do that for the next 4 days. The only thing that is kind of nice is the wind really isn't supposed to be much of a factor. I think the worst we're going to see is about 10-mile-an-hour winds. But this place is going to stay pretty moist, I think. And so
is it really moist?
It's super moist. It's so many things I want to say to you right now. But no.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
agree.
I don't know that Zoysia designed runoff is going to play as aggressively as designed, is all I'm getting at with the weather. I think it is going to be a little more receptive than what was anticipated. So
that's interesting. What will it happen? I mean, stats to build around: accuracy, scrambling, bogey avoidance, double bogey avoidance, putting on bent grass, huge, and driving distance is a factor here. You have to account for it. It does help, but strokes gained off the tee. It's very, very, very important here.
Yeah, strokes. Driving distance,
approach at 200 plus.
Yeah, 200 plus. I also did the 175 to 200 range. Also, that's the second most abundant approach range, and also if it does dry out, I think you're going to see an increase in that.
Wendy, I know what Wendy's afraid of, and it's my favorite thing: carnage.
I don't know if it's as much carnage this week as it is It's probably a little more strategic this week and a little less carnage.
I think it's less carnage and more of like mental meltdowns from guys who think they're going to take this course by storm and get rudely awakened when they miss their first fairway in the second cut of rough, and they have to hack it out and try to hold these nasty greens from really precarious lies around them. You're going to see guys more frustrated with themselves than hitting a good shot and being penalized for it, because the good shots here are not penalized. They are rewarded.
Yeah. I mean, I personally think it's going to be a lot more receptive than advertised. So
that's good.
I think that's going to be a good thing. I don't know that I don't know that it's going to be as aggressive with the around the green like stats as it has been in previous stops here.
Interesting.
So don't get me wrong, still hard to hit these greens. They're very, very small, but I do think that some of those forced layups and some of that penalty for being off track a little bit, I think it's going to play slower. So I'm not taking any of that out of my stat modeling, but it is something to look at, especially as you get closer to like lock time, because like if you're going to see a bunch of crazy weather moving in, it may be a good time to like pivot some of the first round leader bets, or like even how you structure some of your DFS lineups with the wave splits. So
because slower equals longer.
That's what they say. Maybe it just feels longer.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just something in the air tonight. Don't call it Louisville. That makes you really.
It's Louisville.
Louisville. Yeah.
It's Louisville.
Yeah. It's
my brother lives in Lexington, man. I've been to Louisville a ton of times.
All right, just making sure. We're gonna bet on this. We're riding a really, really hot streak lately. So, if you're watching the show, you should continue to watch the show because we're so good at what we do. I mean, we're the best. Wendy knows it. Royal knows it. Everybody who's watching the show is winning money, including us. So we're gonna keep dishing it out, and we're gonna start there with Club Twirls. I can't talk. The Bookers is talking. Wendy, you know what kind of show this is, and it is always like this, and you would know if you were on time more often. I sound like an elementary school teacher.
I think the difference is Wendy shows up once you and I are already a little buzzed, and thankfully I've been inspired by your high octane,
and we start speaking slower.
I'm now drinking high octane, so
yes, sir.
We're about to round into form.
Can confirm
we're the best.
That's affirmative. Over.
We the best.
All right. Top of this board, Sir Scott Scheffler Esquire. Beard is still here. He is a new dad. He's changing diapers. He's not getting as much sleep, but he's been here since Monday. I think he's getting some good, nice Airbnb sleep, or at least penthouse suite sleep in Louisville. I think Scotty Scheffler at plus 400, give or take a few, plus 350 to plus 450 is usually where you find him. And as far as on the surface, I still don't know if I want to bet him at that number, but I'm got my finger hovering above the button to live bet him if he starts off slow on Thursday, like we did at the shoot. What's the one with the plaid jacket?
The Heritage.
The RBC Heritage. He double bogeyed the fourth hole on Thursday. His line went to plus 1100. I hammered it, and we won because he shot 63 on Saturday and blew the field away for his fourth win in 5 starts. He's been off 3 weeks. That's a really good rest period, even though he just had a kid. That means nothing to me. I think Scotty Scheffler is a great play. Maybe not at the line he opens at, but if he does start off slow, or if somebody in the morning on Thursday takes over and gets a sizable lead, and maybe he pars the first 3 holes and he's 4 or 5 shots back. If you see that line move in our favor, you hammer Scotty Scheffler because he can come back from anywhere.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I'm not going to pull the trigger on the plus 400. I know that.
No, 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 no.
I for some reason I wasn't that
You'd
hot,
be silly to do that. So
and
silly.
I wasn't all that hot to trot on him even if he had played Quail Hollow. I mean,
Elaborate. This is interesting because all I've heard is that he's the second coming of Jack Nicklaus and that we should bet him no matter what his number is. Connor, why wouldn't we?
I think there's some things with Scotty that sometimes can get him into trouble, and I, if you look at some of the off the tee, it can get a bit wayward. If you do get a little offline here, like
He's screwed.
depending on how the weather plays, you could be getting yourself into a lot of trouble with the rough. I think the other thing that's scary with Scotty is this really is like a stick it close and make your putt. The problem with Scotty is he sticks it close and doesn't always make the putt. So
Right.
I think Scotty is always live to be in like the top 5 probably at this
Yeah.
point. Like I can't see an alternate reality where he's
Easy
not.
money. Easy money.
But when I say like I wasn't that hot to trot on him at Quail Hollow and I'm not super high on him to win outright here, I just think there's better course fits and
Mhm.
especially in a field like this where I think there's a lot of guys that just line up even better than Scotty does. I know that's a weird thing to think about with the world number
is.
1, but
It's completely insane, but I
but
agree with you.
but yeah, it's I'm not taking anything away from how Scotty's been playing. It'd have to be a pretty good number live betting for me to even pull the trigger. I think there's better courses for Scotty.
So some of you who are watching this know where Scotty appeared in my model, and it's 28th in my model, which is pretty good still. I mean, that's out of 155 golfers. But what you said, Connor, bears a lot of fruit. Strokes gained around the green. When I filter just like straight up all the stats that I'm weighting separately, I don't add any extra filters to it. He's number 1 by a mile. But then I filter for bent grass greens on courses over 7,400 yards, and he plummets to 28th. And the reason being is off the tee, 61st, 65th from tee to green, which is insane because this guy's still 3rd in bogey avoidance and 2nd in strokes gained in par 5s. But he's 62nd around the green, 62nd putting, 53rd on approach, 57th on long approach, 55th in scrambling, 126th in sand saves. And sand saves in this golf course are going to be insanely important. Scotty Scheffler is going to find himself in some bunkers, and he's going to have to find his way to get up and down. And I don't know that that's the part of the game that's been put to the test in the last 5 weeks. Obviously, he's been winning on Bermuda mostly. Bent grass gives him trouble putting. We've seen it all season. We've seen it part of last season. And off the tee, when the courses are long and he's forced to hit more drivers, not as amazing as he has been. So,
and part of that too on the driver's side of things is I was really surprised to find out that he's 50th in this field for driving distance. Like I think there's a perception
he's above average bomber, above average length off the tee, but not a bomber. And everybody should know that Scotty Scheffler is more of an accuracy player. He's a ball striker. He's so consistent with his ball striking that he puts himself in so many scoring positions that he doesn't have to make all those birdie putts. If he did, he would be unbeatable every week, like completely that nobody would even come close to him if he made all of those birdie chances. But that's why he's never out of it as well. I just think that he's not going to be able to put himself in as many birdie opportunities as usual because of the way this course sets up. And he does putt more poorly on bent grass than any other surface. That's a big deal here.
So Scotty Scheffler, who's won 4 out of his last 5 starts, Bo and I are a little
full
bit
fade in betting.
Just full fade.
No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that we need to get the number to be softer before we pull the trigger.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not hyperbole. We just don't like him at plus 400 because that's dumb.
And I honestly think you can get to double digits on day one. I think he'll
in this field this strong, it won't take long.
Yeah. So just watch live on the opening round. I think you can get a good number on Scotty. And once it hits double digits, I'd pull the trigger.
So did you want to know who's number 1 in my model?
I mean, I would love to.
It's recently single. Shout out to all the ladies out there interested. Rory McIlroy, plus 750. Number one in my model. That's because he's number one in tee to green, number one off the tee, number one in driving distance, number one on approach, number 5 in long approach, and everywhere else except for putting on bent where it gives him a little trouble. He's just good.
He's number also number one in my heart.
Definitely. I mean, he's number one in both of our hearts right now because he just paid us a lot of money. Thank you, Rory. We love you. Shout out Northern Ireland in my ancestry. That's exciting to see somebody that we're so high on again this week pop up right at the top of our models. Love it. Let's do it. Plus 750. Is that a good enough line for you? Because it is for me.
I'm in on that one.
Let's go.
If there's one thing I know about Rory over the years, when Rory's on a heater, you don't back off.
You never walk away from the table when you're on a heater.
And he fits so well at Quail Hollow. And in a lot of ways, I think that this is maybe even going to be a little bit, it's weird, even a little better fit for him. It's a little longer.
It is.
It requires more of those long approach shots. So
yeah. Quail Hollow, he was hitting tee shots on lines that nobody else could even fathom. And he won't have that here. It's just going to be his length and accuracy off the tee that's just an advantage in general. He's going to hit shorter clubs into these greens, which are already tough to hold. And I think that's just great. He won't have to take the shortcuts that he did at Quail Hollow to get an advantage. It's already built in. It's baked in right there for Rory to take this thing.
Well, and the nice thing too with Rory is that like even though the putter's been a little bit hit and miss this year, I mean he's number 4 in this field and opportunities gained. So not only
hitting right now, it's hitting.
Yeah, not only is that approach game solid,
can you feel it?
Kicking it close. Yeah. And so, yeah, I love Rory here. 750 is awesome. Dial it up.
All right, who's next on your board? Because my next one's very controversial.
Mine is Oberg.
Okay, let's address Ludwig Oberg because he withdrew last week because of an apparent knee injury. Apparently, it was just management rest, getting ready for Valhalla. Valhalla, the castle in Valhalla, apparently was built for King Ludwig. Ludwig Oberg is from Sweden, of course, a Nordic country. Valhalla, very close to their hearts in Norway, Sweden, Denmark. All of those countries love Valhalla. And the only thing that gives me pause is his number's rather short for a guy who's never won anything on the PGA Tour. However, he fits this golf course amazingly well. He's playing extremely well this season, very, very consistent. And he seems to be unflappable in majors. His first Masters appearance was incredible. He runner-up to Scotty Scheffler. It just seems right to bet Ludwig Oberg, except for reports on the ground during practice rounds, is that this guy cannot stop grabbing his knee in discomfort. Whether it affects his game or not, that's the question. That's the $1 million question, because he's already on a number that's a little short for my comfort, but I really want to see him win.
Yeah, I think he's rapidly proving to us that he's course proof. And so I really, really, and I know you did too, really wanted him to play last week at Quail Hollow.
He would have been amazing.
I think it would have been one of the better like final pairings on Sunday. Rory and him going out and just beating the tar out of each other would have been amazing to watch. But
yeah, because he wasn't going to fold like Xander did.
Like Xander always does, you mean?
Well, except for the Olympics when he won a gold medal. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, the back, so it's not just the knee. There's reports that he's kind of grabbing his back. I mean, I'm not going to take too much of that into account. I'm going to make my play based on the player. I mean, it's kind of like Hideki. Hideki rates out well. Hideki had a back issue. You know, Hideki was also at 80-1 today. I mean, you can't tell me that people aren't going to, buy that number even with the back issues. So
a real back issue.
Right. Like, Ludwig's a young dude. He's probably got some stuff going on, but he's going to be able to play through this. He'll be fine. They'll get him in the trainer's office and they'll take care of him.
That's the joke I made with tears rolling down my face was Hideki Matsuyama doesn't withdraw very often, but when he does, it's after lock.
Hideki,
I adore your perseverance and wanting to go all the way up to the last minute. But for the love of God, next time just pull out on a Wednesday.
Yeah, or just pull out prior to all majors. Like this is he pulls out frequently enough. It just stop. But anyways, the things with Ludwig that we liked last week and we like again this week, again he's
Off the tee.
his off the tee game is impeccable. He's fifth in this field. He's ninth in overall distance off the tee, which is fantastic. He's second in the key par four scoring distances, 450 to 500, which the
He
majority
is a robot.
His bogey avoidance is something you hit on. He's fifth in the field for that. And then the big one that I keep hitting on is opportunities gained. So his approach shots, he's number 3 in the field for opportunities gained. So I loved him last week. A lot of the same type of things I was looking for last week apply here. So I'm going to keep rolling with him. And frankly, I mean, to your point, if you look at what he did at the Masters, like this number may prove to be a little bit long for what he's capable of. When you look at like what Rahm and Koepka have done recently, when you look at what Xander even has done recently, like Ludwig's right there with these guys. And quite honestly, probably playing more consistent golf.
And that's a crazy thing to see because Koepka, 3-time PGA champion, Jon Rahm, another unbelievable major winner. Koepka is the one that intrigues me because he just won in Singapore, and this guy is the ultimate chip on the shoulder player. When courses are long and tough and require good iron play, he's just that good. And his putting seemed to be corrected after the Masters. It pissed him off when he made the cut at the Masters. He wasn't getting contention. He was dead last in strokes gained putting, despite being pretty good from tee to green. And he went out there, he worked on it. He went back to his old mallet putter with the wings on it, the weird looking one. And for me, it's just like, it's crazy to think that Koepka, and who's the defending champion of the PGA Championship, by the way, Brooks Koepka, you might have heard of him. He's 16-1, which is insane to me. That's way too long for him. And Jon Rahm, 16-1. I can't decide which one I want to play. I might play both of them in a bet. Maybe not a full unit because I don't know what their form looks like. I know that Koepka's in good form right now because we just saw it. But Rahm scares me. Like, he should do well here. But will he? That's the main question. I trust both of them more than Ludwig with his bulky knee. It's just, for me, Koepka seems to be the one that I keep coming back to. And maybe I'm dumb. Maybe Koepka's not what he used to be. But I just saw him dominate in Singapore. He was dominant on the LIV Tour in Singapore.
I remember the Masters when I brought up Bryson DeChambeau and his play on the LIV Tour. And I remember a guy I do a show on YouTube with telling me you can't take into account LIV stats.
No, not LIV stats, but LIV wins do matter. But Bryson winning anything on LIV, he doesn't win shit.
So anyways, here's my thing. Like I don't
like Bryson here.
It
might surprise you to hear me say that, but Bryson's a good play here.
So but busting your chops aside, like I agree with you that like the LIV finishes do have some indication of like where these guys are trending at as far as their complete game is concerned. Would I rather see Brooks performing when he plays PGA events or majors? Like, yeah, I think that would be a little more reassuring. I was not impressed with him at the Masters. I'm not impressed with how he looks overall coming in here. But I feel the same way about Jon Rahm. Like, there's just something that is off with Jon Rahm's game. Like, it's just weird. Not.
He's so good usually.
And like even today in a couple of the pressers, they were talking to Rahm about like, have you fine-tuned anything? Have you figured out what's missing from your game? And he's just sitting there like doesn't think there's anything wrong with his game. And all the political stuff going on around him, like he just I don't know what his deal is, but I have no confidence in Jon Rahm's headspace at all.
No. He's very volatile in the mental game, and that scares me on a golf course like this. Playing 72 holes on this golf course is going to be mentally grueling, and I don't know if he's got it right now. Like we've seen Jon Rahm get into like a locked-in zone where he's unbeatable, but it's been a while. It's been a long while since we've seen that version of him.
If I had to pick one of the two, since that's what we're talking about, I guess I would go Koepka.
Yeah. I was just wondering because they're 6 and 7 in my model, and they're both the same number.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would go Koepka. I guess if you want to call it form, and if you want to call it strokes gained,
Chloroform.
strokes gained headspace, I feel a lot more confident in Brooks. But
Yeah.
but for me, Brooks is more of a player pool in the DFS space. I don't know that I want to spend real money on him for an outright. There's too many guys that I like better. I mean, Scotty, Rory, Oberg. I like DeChambeau better than both of them, to be honest.
Okay, that's fair.
So
It's a really good course fit for Bryson, and I don't say that very often, but this is exactly where we'd want to play him. There's two guys in that 35-45 range that I really like, and a guy at 50 that I know we both absolutely love. Max Homa, who is he's doing really well, consistent basis. Maybe not the best scrambler that we're looking for here, but Cam Smith at 45-1, that seems like a misprice to me. If he can find the off the tee game that he's had on Live lately, then I think he'll be fine here because putting travels. Putting is like defense. It just doesn't matter. You can win championships with an amazing short game. And I think that number is just too long for him and Patrick Cantlay. Cantlay is the weird one for me. 40-1 just seems weird for him, especially with what we saw him do last week where he was pretty solid. No, none of the above.
on Cantlay?
On any of the three. Homa, Cantlay, Smith. Are you interested in any of those three?
Cam Smith off the tee bothers me. Like I'll probably,
Oh, it's bad.
I'll probably take a pass on Cam here.
Yeah.
I normally like him a lot in a major, but yeah, distance is just too important here. So I'll take a pass on him. Cantlay a lot is getting to be a lot like not getting to be. He is a lot like Xander for me, where even
They're
if he sets
besties.
up
They're definitely besties.
and even if they set up great for something, like I just have no faith that they'll be able to carry it start to finish and actually close out a tournament. Like it's just, I mean, 40, I guess, is a decent number for him, but
Yeah.
I think Max Homa is probably the one that if you get the complete Max Homa game, Max Homa absolutely can go out and win here.
Max Homa from tee to green is nails.
And Max Homa too, like unlike Xander and Cantlay, which were the other guys I was comparing, and it's just kind of like Homa has a fire about him. He goes out and he gives a shit, and
He does.
um,
He's damn good at the game too. Damn good at the game.
and I know that that's not a stat you can measure, but it does matter. You got to have,
especially in majors.
yeah, which is what we always love Brooks for, right? Is Brooks is
up
the
for
major
it.
killer, so
He's always up for it.
yeah. So in that regard, I probably lean Homa. I probably have more interest in just dropping down and taking a look at Terrell Hatton and Justin Thomas. Actually, I kind of want to get back on JT this week.
JT is number 2 in my model, and I am going to bet the absolute piss out of him. And guess where Justin Thomas is from?
Is he from here?
He's from Louisville.
Lol.
The fans are going to be rabid behind Justin Thomas this week, and he's coming in great form. This guy with number 2 tee to green, number 2 on approach, number 4 around the green. His short game's immaculate. He's just hot right now, and he's having a great season. And wouldn't it be nice for him to cash in his first win of the season at his hometown golf club, Valhalla? I can't wait to see it. It feels like Rory last week to me, where it's just like home sweet home. Even though Rory's not from Charlotte, it's basically his home with the way he's dominated there. I think that we got some home cooking here in Kentucky for Justin Thomas, and I'm all in on him.
Yeah, 100%. I'm right there with you, and I've had to kind of tone it down. I mean, when we came into this,
I'm not gonna. You can't make me.
We came into this season, I was hot to trot. Justin Thomas, Player of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, every award that you've known to man, he's going to take it all, just win every tournament. That didn't come to fruition,
No,
but
he's still been pretty good.
He has been pretty good, and the things about his game that were holding him back, kind of back in like March, February and March, really, it was a lot of the off the tee, which is still suspect from time to time. But over the last 2 tournaments, he's averaging 1.6 strokes gained for the tournament off the tee. He's averaging 4.1 tee to green in total. So the approach game is coming back. Consistency off the tee is coming back. And the other thing, too, that was helpful the last 2 tournaments is the putter actually is back a little bit.
It is.
which, believe it or not, this was shocking to me. But if you go back and look at like the Valspar or the players, he lost 3.4 strokes putting, and Valspar he lost 4.9, almost 5 strokes putting, which is
Sheesh.
very un-JT like. So I like everything that I'm seeing. All signs point to him rounding back into form. To your point, it's time to be a hometown hero. So I love Justin Thomas this week, and that 50 to 1's been
Yeah.
holding pretty strong. So
I know, I can't believe it. And
so you
like
might
knock,
be able to wait it out.
knock on wood. Let's go. Stay.
Might be able to get a little longer.
Hold. Yeah, actually, there are a couple books where he's up to 65, which that's Hammer City right there.
Yeah. So, and I do love the course fit for Justin here too. Like if we get vintage Justin Thomas, this is going to be a cakewalk for him. Like this just sets up too good.
Chill. Yeah, I'm all over that. Next in line, are you feeling what I'm feeling with Dustin Johnson at 80 to 1? That just makes no sense.
I was surprised at some of the stats that I'm looking at. Like,
right? He's number 4 in my model. That's pretty good.
It seems incredibly long for Dustin Johnson. So
DJ.
He's on my card for sure.
Oh, for sure. 80 to 1's too long to pass up.
He's another guy too, though, that like I may go back to the window on because he hasn't moved, and so potentially that's going to end up sliding a little bit more, getting a little bit longer. And if that's the case, if you start getting like that,
to see it.
90 to 1 DJ, like why not?
Yeah, why not is right. Another one that's there in that range is Jason Day. He looked pretty good last week. His long approach game and a par 5 scoring pretty bad. Sand game non-existent. But the rest of these stats are really good. Number 1 putting on bent grass in this entire field.
It looks pretty good. You can't be talking about his wardrobe.
No. Terribly dressed. Yeah, I like Jason Day here. He's starting to show signs of life again, which is nice because we always love rooting for J Day's easy. The guy's just so cool.
Yeah, I think I'll be looking for maybe like a top 20, maybe even a top 10 number on J Day.
I don't know if he can win here.
That's kind of the same way I feel about Benny On.
He's hot, so hot right now.
He is, but he just doesn't have the complete game to win a major. Like I think he'll compete, but I don't see him around the green doing well enough.
He was making putts last week. I was rooting for him. I was like, "Let's go, Benny!" Because it was like right after you had said he's dead to me for another week because he burned you the week before, and I was laughing because as soon as you say somebody's dead to you, they're gonna be chasing the championship the very next week. It's
double down.
It's like clockwork. So who's dead to you this week?
Week early.
Who's dead to you this week? They're gonna win.
Who's permanently dead to me is Xander Schauffele. So go bet that.
There you go. Xander actually fits this course really well. We just don't know if he's gonna be able to pull it through at the end. He's really good. Obviously, he's top 5, top 10 every single week. He just hasn't won yet. Who knows? Maybe that's your pick. If you're going to be contrarian, anti-Conor, then Xander Schauffele's going to win the PGA Championship.
Give her hell.
Who else you got on your card?
I got 2 incredibly deep ones. So if you've got anybody,
I do too. I don't have anybody else. I have Tiger Woods 300 to 1. That's vibes. Yeah, that's vibes. And Tiger Woods on a course like this, his approach game is a strength. The only problem with Tiger is he doesn't play enough for his short game field to be there. And we've seen that time and time again where if Tiger completes 72 holes, it's his short game that falls apart because he doesn't get enough reps anymore. His long game's still fine. His approach game still nails. We're talking top 5 on approach for Tiger Woods in this field, and that should not be ignored. He's rated higher in this field than Scotty is.
I don't have any problem with the bet actually, and really in a lower scoring affair like this is going to be, it's an easier walk. He said it himself. It's an easier walk, though it's a longer walk.
It's longer, but it's flat.
So I actually think that this is actually a pretty good spot for Tiger. Like I don't know that I see him winning. I'm still going to make the bet because it's Tiger. But But yeah, I think it's a tall ask with some of the guys at the top of the board here. But yeah,
But
Tiger.
top 20 bet, top 30 bet in Tiger,
Yeah,
that's still paying good money.
yeah, I think I'd find that top 20, top 30 for sure, and then
Sure.
throw a few bucks at the outright just in case. You never know.
And my other one's Justin Rose at 300 also.
I'll let you talk about Rosie because I'm not on him.
So Rosie's a volatile pick, but his strength is in long approach. He's great on long approach. He kills par fives. He just doesn't avoid bogeys anymore. I think that's the part of his game that's kind of slacked off. And of course, his putting's been horrendous. But I think that his tee to green game is strong enough to put some birdies on the card here. At 300 to 1, I'm again doing top 20, top 30 bets, throwing a couple bucks on the outright because he's still got game. He's still scoring birdies on tougher courses. He's another one of those grinder types that we get with Kurt Kitayama, who I'm a little bit off on just because his off the tee game is a little too erratic for this place. It's for me, it's a little bit of Justin Rose and a little bit of Phil Mickelson at 400 to 1. Phil Mickelson still got game.
400's pretty decent on Phil.
Phil is number one in this field around the green. No surprise there. He's one of the best short game players of all time. Number seven in scrambling, number 5 in putting. This guy is not going to beat himself. If he can find fairways, he's gonna do just fine.
If he does beat himself, he'll have a belt around his neck.
Yeah, and he will tell us all on Twitter what happened.
So I have one at 800 to 1.
Yes.
And this is actually pretty solid.
Is it CT Pan?
No, it is Tim Whiting.
Whiting?
Whiting.
Okay.
I had to look up the pronunciation in Swedish.
Oh, so he's a Swede.
He is a Swede. He's currently playing on the Korn Ferry Tour. He has 3 top 10s in total. He's made 7 of 9.
Cue the Viking metal music.
You're going to want to listen to this one. He is coming off of back-to-back wins on the Korn Ferry Tour. He is an elite driver. Averages 309 yards off the tee with a long ball of about 384 at his max. Hits 77.8% of fairways. He's number 2 in greens and regulation on Korn Ferry right now. He is number 1 in sand save percentage on the Korn Ferry Tour. 60 bunkers at this course.
Yes.
He is number 1 on the Korn Ferry in par 4 scoring, number 9 in par 5 scoring, and he is the number 2 overall average score per tournament leader in the Korn Ferry Tour.
I see him here. Widing.
This guy is so mispriced. Go get any placement bets you can find on him. Like, this is like a real player.
I can't wait to write him up now because you just laid out all the stats that I want to see, and because of how I filter it with the bent grass and long courses, he doesn't have any rounds under those parameters, so he slipped through the cracks. So when I broaden the search out, guess what? He pops up to the top 25 in my model. Shocker. So yeah, we're thank you, Connor, for my deep shot in the article I'm gonna write tonight.
Oh, hey, let me just fire this one because I'm not going to elaborate. But Ryan van Velzen, South African, 2,500 to 1. Yep. He has 4 top 15s in his last 5 starts on the DP World Tour.
Ooh, he's hot right now. Ryan van Velzen. I see him.
I've done way dumber shit with $5. I'm just saying.
2,500 to 1. $5 turns into, what is that? That's $1,200.
2,500 times 5.
I can't do math.
12,500.
Wow. Yeah. That's worth a shot. Who cares?
That one, the Whiting one, though, go get that as soon as we're off air, bro.
Yeah, Whiting's definitely going on the card. All right. Let's move on to the DFS. No trunk slams. I beat you because of Hideki Matsuyama. Thank you, Hideki, for the late with WD. You are indebted. I am indebted to you. Domo arigato.
I hate you.
I think we can breeze right through this DFS because we're going to be playing a lot of the same guys we're betting on. right? Is there anybody else that you're like at the top? Scotty, you definitely don't want to be underweight on Scotty at any tournament because he scores so many DFS points. You don't want to be underweight on Rory. You can take your stabs at the live guys at the top there. Anybody popping up as crazy leverage, like way less ownership than you were expecting?
Um, I've been going back and forth on this all day, just refreshing it, trying to take a look at it. I think what was odd to me actually was Scotty Scheffler's projected, like at 13,200,
Yeah.
like 25 to 30% is just aggressive considering you can have Rory for $1,100 less, who has just as much, if not more, win equity here.
Yep.
So I'm
So let's see
probably
here.
kind of taking a bit of a mini fade on Scheffler and DFS. I know it's scary, but 13.2 is a lot of money to spend on him at that rate.
Seems a little excessive. Let's see. I'm gonna pull it up here. Wow, look how fast my internet is.
It's that California internet.
Yeah. Oh, of course it reset all my favorites. So carry on.
Yeah, at the top, the guys that I'm mainly interested in are Rory and Oberg. I'll have some ROM shares. I'm pretty much out completely on Schauffele. Like I said, mini fade and Scheffler, but a lot of Rory and a lot of Oberg at the top for me.
Interesting. Let's see. I'm gonna try to get enough favorites going here. As you go down into the nines, JT's there at 9,300. I think that's too low for him. And from what I've seen, he's not getting a whole lot of extra chalk, despite it being common knowledge that it's his hometown.
JT is probably one of the better pivot moves on the whole board, in my opinion. Like he's at
That's
7.8 projected,
that's
9,300.
insane, right?
Yeah, I will be playing a fair amount of JT, but what I'm probably going to end up doing, because I love some of these Swedes and
You're
Corn
such a
Ferry guys,
Swede.
is I'm probably going to do a lot of like Rory JT, Ludwig JT, like because you can stack like that because you get down into the 5Ks. There's actually some value plays down there. So
And there's some guys in this range that I don't want any part of. Like, sorry, Lindell, but Victor Hovland is dead to me this week. Even though this course should set up well for him, and he is from Norway, it's just what is going on with Victor, man? This is the guy who just won the FedEx Cup, running away with it, and now he's completely off the fucking reservation.
I don't know if I'm ready to go that far on him. The biggest things that are screwing up his game currently are really like more around the green and putting. It's a lot of the short game stuff, which was always our biggest knock on Victor. Surprisingly, like when you look at par four scoring and you look at a lot of the like actually if you look at a lot of the scoring metrics over the last 50 rounds, he still holds pretty strong. Now, granted, that includes some of the run at the end of the tail end of last season, but I mean, he is number one in this field for par four scoring from that 450 to 500 range. And he's number four in this field from 175 to 200 on approach. So there are some things to really like about him. And I was surprised to find out that he's number 8 for shots gained off the tee. So there are some things I like about Vic, and I'll probably have some shares. But the nice thing is you don't have to have a ton of him to be over the field. I mean, I think you can be about 10% and kind of be right matched at the field if you want to play Victor.
Yeah. And Victor might be the one that you want to pivot to as leverage. 9,200, only 7.4% owned. That's really good. What's going on with Willie Z? I mean,
A lot of people are hot on him, right? And I'm just not. I'm not there. Not
nobody's hot on him. He's under 5% projected roster chip.
There's just some
His back
more
still
popular
hurts.
industry people that are talking a lot about him.
But his back still hurts. I mean, other than being an immense leverage play, this course should set up well for him, but maybe it sets up well for Will from 2 years ago. Willie Z 2 years ago would have eaten this place for lunch, but he's not the same player this year. He's not as long off the tee, and he's still dealing with the back.
And realistically, he didn't make my top 20 in my model, so I mean, I'm going to have a pretty condensed player pool this week. I mean, it's probably going to be 25 to 30 people. And if you're not in the top 20 of my model, I mean, I just didn't put a whole lot of research into you.
Let's see. I have 20 in mine right now. So
With,
doing the same thing. Let's
yeah, I
see.
mean, there's guys I like better, like getting down. He's in the eights. Like I like Hatton better. I like Thigala. I like DJ.
You like the gala.
I do like Thigala, and the reason I like Thigala,
Mm.
I'll tell you the reason I like Thigala a little bit is one, the putting, and two, the approach game from the 200 plus. So I think that you gain a little bit of leeway on the fairways here versus last week. So he can spray it a little more than he does. But when you really look at that approach metric from the 200 plus and how that lines up with a lot of the approaches, not only on the par fours but the par fives, I really think that Thigala's got a nice look at a lot of these greens, and he's probably going to be less than driver due to the forced layups. So I think we get the driver out of his hand on some of this, and we get to watch that approach. And if that's the case, he becomes a lot more lethal. Take that driver out of his hand, and he's a lot better play.
Yeah. It's just that off the tee game is so bad.
Yeah, but a lot of that is driver. Less than driver, he's a lot better.
Yeah. Agree to disagree. I'm a full fade on Thigala. I think that he's going to get into a lot of trouble off the tee, even with less than driver, because this golf course demands. It has a couple of forced layups for sure, but he also is going to have to driver quite often, and that's big numbers around every corner. He's 26 in bogey avoidance. Not bad. I might have to take another look at it, but on bent grass, he's 120th putting, so his short game's good, but his putting on bent grass has been pretty bad.
He's worth another look. I think what you'll find when you look at like the course, when you actually look at the course layout, based on his driving distance and some of the forced layups, I think you're going to get a lot of less than driver out of him. Especially
I like him in DFS because he does make birdies. Like he's definitely a scorer.
And especially if this place like does get a little bit more receptive, I think that increases his value. So
okay. I really like Dustin Johnson 5% roster to 8,000 flat. Gimme all of that.
You just gotta hope there's some cocaine and hookers there for him.
I mean, it's Kentucky. There's got to be something.
Buy some bourbon. Yeah, but no, I'm with you on DJ. I don't know if it's so much a stat thing as much as it is like overall it's a good course fit, and it's more of a gut thing.
Immaculate.
I just think it's a good value for DJ.
It's a good course fit for Corey Connors if he ever finds a short game, right? It's again, I'd rather have Siwoo Kim at $100 more, Minwoo Lee at $100 more. Corey Connors, for me, getting chalk is hilarious because
every week
this dude has no short game whatsoever. Dead last in around the green, dead last putting. What is the appeal here?
I don't know, and it's every freaking week, and every single week he does the same thing.
It's because everybody's weighting tee to green stats so heavily, and of course he's going to rate out well there. He's an amazing ball striker. He's one of the best golf swings I've ever seen. It's like seeing the Beatles, hearing the Beatles for the first time. Watching him chip and putt is like a root canal.
Hearing the Beatles for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Nikolai Højgaard, 7,400. I think I like him. Because his short game's so good. And he's a long hitter. Long hitter, great short game. I don't care if he misses some greens. This guy can chip. No?
Yeah, I'm probably not so much into Nikolai. We skipped over him. Another live guy, Taylor Gooch, has been having a great season. He's
inviting himself to all sorts of places.
Yeah, this is,
But he does have game, and it's like we make the jokes, but Taylor Gooch is quite good at golf. Quite good.
Yeah, he backs it up. I mean, I don't think he's got Forrest Gump level IQ, but he definitely can play golf.
Now everywhere I was going, I was running.
So I got interested Gooch in that range at 4.6. He's had a really good season on Live, like I was saying. It's hard to find stats because he was one of the original.
I just want to clip you saying that out of context.
I really like Gooch.
Like Gooch this week. It's different from most weeks.
Yeah, well. Also another Live guy in this range that I like a little better. What is a Dean Burmester? What is that?
He's a live winner.
Actually, though, surprisingly, he fits the course really well. Hits the ball a little bit longer. Has been having a good season on approach. Good season on live. Again, you'd have to like go over and watch some footage of him on live to really get a feel for him because his PGA stats weren't ever anything to write home about. But he is in good form. And at 7K, you can do worse in that region. You really can.
Yeah, and as you go down from Burmester, you have Justin Rose, you have Tiger Woods, 6,900, 6,800. Those are two that I have starred. Shoot, keep going down farther. Yeah, so keep going down the sixes because my next one's at 6,100.
Taylor Pendrith rated out pretty well for me.
Oh my God, it's a coin flip with him. Every week is a coin flip. He's either going to be incredibly accurate off the tee and take everybody for betting him so low, and then the next week you bet him because, oh man, he's so hot off the tee, and then he completely implodes and misses the cut. So I never get Taylor Pendrith right. I guess that's just my lot in life.
5,700 Sebastian Soderberg.
Soderberg.
World Tour guy, also a Swede. He has a third, a second, and a second in his last 3 starts on the DP World Tour. He also has another 6th, a 9th, and another 3rd. Hasn't missed a cut all season. This is a boy who's playing some seriously good golf on the World Tour. So that's a pretty good price for a guy that is competing week in and week out, albeit in a little bit lesser fields. But yeah, this is somebody I would feel confident in scoring some points for you. So 5,700 Sebastian Soderberg.
All right, and I added Tim Whiting to my DFS pool, 5,600. That's
solid.
0.7% rostered. So there's a handful. There are dozens of us.
You heard it here first. I'm just telling you.
Sure. Nobody's talking about him.
Jordan L. Smith is getting some steam.
I was just gonna say Jordan L. Smith. God damn it! For all the Scottish people out there,
he's 55. It's a good price on him too.
That's for Kieran. Kieran, Jordan L. Smith pick is for you.
But yeah, another World Tour guy. Hasn't missed a cut really all season. His best finish this year was a runner-up at the Johnson Workwear Open, whatever the hell that is, but that was in March. Other than that, he's got a string of top 20-ish, top 25s, but hits the ball a good amount of ways, pretty accurate on approach.
306 average.
Yeah, he's going to fall into that, like, actually, honestly, like Scotty Scheffler distance for reference. Like, that's about where Scotty lives. So
yeah, 300 to 310. That's right.
And then you got my boy Van Velzen down there at 55. And then I got one more Swede.
Who is it?
It is
John Suzanne Summers.
Yeah, it's something like that. I gotta find him. I've got him start. Oh, Jesper Svensson.
Jesper.
Yeah, Jesper Svensson. So again, just going off World Tour stats, he won the Porsche Singapore. He had a runner-up at Bahrain. He had a runner-up at Investec. So a win and 2 runner-ups this season. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 top 20s, a top 11, just all over the map. This guy's competing week in, week out. Not the longest of hitters. I think he's going to live right around that 300 range, if memory is serving me. I lost my tab on him, but pretty accurate off the tee. I remember it being around a 65% fairway in regulation. And he's about a 68% green and regulation guy. So another solid player down here. Like there are some really good values down in this range that nobody's ever heard of.
All right. Well, let's go back here. And who do you have winning this damn thing? And what score?
I think I'm gonna go JT and 11 under.
Nice. All right, I am gonna go with Brooks Koepka, 13 under.
Oh no!
Connor dropped his hat. First round leader, Connor.
First round leader. I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to go JT. JT usually starts hot. I'm going to go JT.
All right. I think I'll go with I'll go with Scotty, fresh off baby leave, going out there shooting something stupid like 67, 4 under on it in an opening round is going to be close to the lead. So give me that. Nice.
I like it.
11-1 off the schneid.
Solid.
All right, you got the hat.
We're making money moves. I'm trying to get back to my actual model so that we can actually use this.
Hat pick. Still going strong.
All right. The hat has selected number 3. So we're getting an actual real player this week.
Yes.
Number 3. Oh,
Number 3.
I love the hat. The hat has selected Rory McIlroy.
And my hat has selected Justin Thomas. We love it.
Dude, the hat's starting to catch our vibes.
The hat is hot.
Well, I'm sufficiently buzzed now after drinking several scotches.
When you read my articles tomorrow morning, just know that I was under the influence.
I just was reading my edit as I was going back through my notes, and
I'm expecting my Pulitzer in the mail.
There's some questionable content in there, including the fact that I put Terrell Hatton as 2 of my subcategories when I obviously
surprising. Terrell Hatton has never been picked by the hat.
Yeah, Tim knows, man. The hat's on fire. Rory and JT this week.
Jeez, love to
get it, hat.
All right, from Conor Coughlin, I am Bo McBrayer. This has been the 19th hole. Join us next week for the something in Texas, Colonial. It's the opposite of this course. Short and toit.
Just like us.
Sure.